I'd like to welcome you to the graduation ceremony for the St. Paul Fire Department Recruit Academy Class of 2017. My name is Ken Gilliam, and I'm the Deputy Chief of the Training Division. It's my honor to open these proceedings for our 10 Academy graduates. This ceremony is a culmination of 16 weeks of intense and comprehensive training and builds upon 162 years of proud tradition and service to the community. Please rise as the recruits enter. They'll be followed by the St. Paul Fire Department Local 21 Color Guard entering to post the colors. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
Present arms.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America, and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Order, arms. Left, right.
Class, prepare to uncover. Uncover. You may all be seated. We'd like to thank the members of the Local 21 Color Guard and also the Minnesota State Fire Service Memorial Pipe Band for their presentation and for their continued dedication to the department. At this time, I'd like to welcome retired St. Paul firefighter and Reverend Bob Van Zee to the stage. Reverend Van Zee, would you please offer the prayer of invocation?
I guess I speak on behalf of God, so God welcomes you here today. This is a great day. Every time I see this and see the tradition that goes into it and think of everything that's happened, it's just an amazing thing to me. I'd like to pray a blessing over this group right now and over this gathering. Father in heaven, we thank you and we praise you for what you've given us here today, Lord. In a sense, we bring you our very best and our brightest. And people that have tried their hardest, they've done their best, they've done everything they can do to get here today. And we ask a blessing upon them. We ask a blessing on this celebration, on this day. We ask a blessing of prosperity on them. We ask a blessing of safety on them, of health. Let them enjoy this to the fullest today, Lord. And from this day forward, we ask your hand would be upon them. And we ask it in Jesus' name. And we hope that everybody can say amen to that.
Thank you, Reverend Van Zee. We're going to have to deviate from our schedule of events here just a little bit. Senator Klobuchar has unfortunately been delayed. Her peeps are here, but we're going to go ahead and jump down one on the list. Certainly not jumping down, but it is now my honor to welcome St. Paul Mayor Chris Coleman to the stage.
First of all, congratulations, class of 2017. I know this has been a long journey. It's been a tough journey. A lot of knocks and a lot of hard work over these last 15 weeks. You've learned a lot, you've worked a lot, and I'm sure that you have studied a lot. But we're so grateful that you have embarked on this journey to be a member of the St. Paul Fire Department. It is and continues to be one of the best departments in the entire country. I am absolutely 100% certain of that. In the leadership of Chief Butler and all the leadership of the department, you have folks that will look out for your interests, that will look out for you and make sure that you have the resources and the tools that you need to be successful. We have, and Council President Stark, Councilmember Bostrom is here, and the entire City Council, you have a governmental unit that is supportive of the work that you do. But most importantly, you have the support of a community that values and honors its fire department, that knows that you are the ones that are willing to walk into or run into a burning building, that are running into a time of crisis. When others would flee, you are the ones that are being asked to go into a difficult situation. But you do it because of your dedication, you do it because of your training, you do it because that is your duty, but you do it because you have a passion and commitment to this work. It's not an easy job, and there will be very many stressful times. It's hard on your family, it's hard on your personal life, but the fact of the matter is, you will find in the St. Paul Fire Department and in the community of the City of St. Paul a true family. You are now a member of that family when you put that badge on, and we're happy to welcome you to it. This is truly graduation season. I'm off to buy 40 pounds of pork for a graduation ceremony for my son this weekend, who's graduating from the University of Minnesota. We're very happy he's doing that. But it is a moment for us to pause and reflect and to celebrate this graduation and this moment, because you have worked so hard up to this point, but the real work now begins. But you do have a career here in the City of St. Paul. You have a career in this department. And if you continue to give the same dedication that you have over these last 15 weeks, as you go into the station house, as you go into the service, you will find this to be an incredibly rewarding career, and you will continue to find support in that family of the City of St. Paul. Graduates, congratulations. Thank you for being a part of the St. Paul Fire Department. We look forward to many years of service. Thank you so much.
Privileged to welcome up Dr. Aaron Burnett from Regions EMS.
Thank you, Chief. Graduates, today you enter a department whose breadth of experience is rivaled only by its depth of expertise. The tradition of excellence in emergency medical services runs long and deep through the history of this department. You'll see many things on the streets of St. Paul. Some will be joyous, as when you help a mother bring a new baby into the world, and some will be tragic. Unfortunately, at times the latter may seem to outweigh the former. But do not lose sight of the daily victories you will encounter, like when you comfort a frightened child with a broken arm, or hold the hand of an elderly patient who has no one else to reach out to. There are few professions in which you have the ability to touch as many lives as you will have. As emergency medical services professionals, you serve on the front line of our healthcare safety net. Whether your run takes you to the governor's mansion or the gospel mission, each citizen of St. Paul is provided the same high level of medical care. You must always strive to ensure that each is treated with the same level of understanding, compassion, and respect. But know that you are not alone. You will be led by mentors whose experience spans decades. Every week, patients' lives are saved by St. Paul firefighters. I know because I've seen it. I've cared for patients who were saved by St. Paul firefighters who skillfully and without hesitation perform needle chest decompressions or videolaryngoscope-assisted intubations. I remember a young child who is only alive today because St. Paul firefighters rapidly found her on their primary search of a burning building and began providing life-saving care even before she was out of that building. Cases like these occur in parts of our city every day, and you will be a part of them. It was the men and women who went before you who established this department as a leader in pre-hospital medicine and a pioneer in EMS research. Their work revolutionized how we care for cardiac arrest patients in our streets, in our hospitals, and around the world. Today, your graduation is a great celebration, but I know that for each of you, there are even greater things to come. Congratulations on this accomplishment, and I'll see you in the ER.
Thank you, Dr. Burnett. I would like to say a special thank you to you as well. It's been nice having a doc lurking around the academies, working out in the field with the new recruits, and certainly an added addition to our academy staff the last few times, so thank you. Now my privilege to invite Fire Chief Tim Butler to the stage.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the men and women of the St. Paul Fire Department, I extend congratulations to the class of 2017. Today we share your joy, honor your accomplishments, and formally welcome you to the St. Paul Fire Department. The class of 2017 has survived an arduous selection process for firefighter. They've endured long, anxious months of waiting on the hiring list and now have completed a most rigorous and demanding 15-week training academy. Nearly 1,000 candidates competed for the seats these young men are sitting in today, and they can be rightfully proud of the place they've earned on our department and the place they've earned in our society. In all the public service, there's no place more where professional competency and skill, critical thinking under chaotic conditions, selfless sacrifice, and physical and emotional strength are more important or more evident than in the professions that make up public safety. I think that's especially true in fire-based EMS service delivery. Our profession is a back-breaking love of labor of love, fraught with life-threatening and career-ending hazards. Our work is carried out at all hours and in all weather conditions. As we touch the lives of thousands of seriously ill and injured residents each year, we expose ourselves to those same illnesses, and we see in graphic detail the vivid images of those horrific injuries. The physical and emotional stress takes a toll, and if not relieved, it can become an acute and a chronic killer. Far too often, the illnesses that we strive to relieve in others and the hazards of the fire ground plague our own health and well-being long after we return to quarters. Class of 2017, you are taking on a very arduous job. You will always be in the public eye. You will constantly be exposed to sickness, darkness, and brutal weather, and you will see firsthand the unsavory side of the human condition. You will always walk a step away from disaster, and your best efforts will not always be enough to preserve the lives and property of those who you were summoned to save. There's no PPE or training program that will protect you from all that we subject you to as a society. Yet, in spite of those threats to ourselves, we courageously step forward on a daily basis to serve our neighbors, the businesses in our community, and our city. Some would ask us, why would we do it? Why would we risk it? And I would answer, because there's great joy in the work we do in spite of the hardships, or perhaps because of the hardships. My two daughters once approached me when they were young, giggly girls. They asked me what it was like being married to my wife, Sue. They no doubt expected an answer that included puppy dogs and floating cartoon hearts and fireworks and champagne kisses. And I told them, marriage is like digging a ditch. Yeah, I know, that's the answer I got from them. They laughed hysterically and ran off eagerly and gleefully to tell their mother what I had said. But much later, on the occasion of my oldest daughter's wedding day 2 years ago, I had the opportunity to clarify my answer. As I toasted the new bride and groom, I recalled that childhood question about marriage and my answer about digging the ditch. I told them that what I should have given them was a young man's answer to a young girl's question. Instead, I had given the old man's perspective, one blessed by looking back on years of marriage and the labor it took to make ends meet, to raise a family, and to build a home, digging the ditch, so to speak. Now, as young adults, I could tell my daughters that yes, my marriage to Sue had also been filled with fireworks and puppy dogs and champagne kisses, all the exciting stuff. But I told them that in looking back, I discovered that the real joy was working together to create something special in spite of the hardships and the setbacks. Firefighting, like a long and successful marriage, is a demanding, selfless labor of love. As you start your new careers as firefighters, I know that you're all filled, you don't look like it, but you're all filled with excitement and enthusiasm. Look at these guys. Right now, I think you're all seeing the fireworks and the puppy dogs. And I hope you savor that enthusiasm and that excitement, and I hope you renew it every day you come into the stations for the next 30 years. If you embrace each day as a challenge to be eagerly faced, and you cherish the memories and the lessons you learn daily, then you will someday, as old veteran firefighters, look back and find the joys were very much more worth the hard work. Your service has provided a bottomless well of great memories, indescribable happiness, and a feeling of great and lifelong accomplishments. Every day on this job brings a new challenge, a new experience, and new excitement. You will know the joy of helping bring a new baby into the world. You'll ease the pain and bring a smile to the face of an anxious elder. You will undoubtedly see some mechanisms of injuries on our scenes and marvel at the science and the miracles behind the human body. You will experience a great sense of accomplishment when you apply your physical and mental talents and solve a seemingly impossible task. Our work brings aids to sick and dying, and we often intervene to save the lives of our patients. The years that we give back to those victims also preserves their relationships, their memories, their families, and their neighborhoods and businesses where they live and work. If you're lucky, you'll know the indescribable joy and sense of accomplishment in searching a smoke-filled room and finding and rescuing a fire victim and then saving their life on the front lawn. All of you will experience the waves from the little kids on the street on a daily basis. Savor that admiration and always wave back. There will be wonderful stories told around the tailboard and in the rig while returning to quarters and around the kitchen table at the fire station. Stories about families and hobbies, emergency calls so crazy that the public would never even believe they're true. Share freely, laugh deeply, and drink from that reservoir of friendship and brotherhood. Those are the things and those are the people that will help you through the hard times, and they're the things that make this job the best one in the world. I know a young police officer who, after his first day on the job, posted on Facebook, "First day done, only 30 more years till retirement." I wanted to yell at the computer, don't be in a rush to get through the whole thing. Savor each day. I will give you the advice I wish I would have given that young officer. Write it down. Keep a journal and record your triumphs, the new tricks of the trade that you learn on a daily basis, the stories that you had about a memorable fire or a memorable coworker. Record the impact you've made through your work and the impact that other firefighters and people in our community have on you. And someday you'll look back and you'll have an incredible story for your kids or your grandkids to read. You will be amazed at the impact you've made, the heartaches that you've endured, and the many joys that you've had as a firefighter. And I hope that you will find, as many of us have found, it's a great job. So savor every day of it, and I hope you will have a long and healthy and rewarding career. As you take to the streets this weekend, and some of them start on Mother's Day, I apologize to the families in advance for that. As you take to the streets this weekend and this next week, Please review my 6 standing orders. Issued to every new firefighter on the department, they provide guidance and direction for every situation you will find yourself in. I know too that I hereby invest with you the full authority to carry out those standing orders. Follow those orders and adhere to your firefighter's oath of office that you'll be taking in a few minutes, and you'll never get in trouble with me or the citizens that you pledge to serve. And finally, I want to recognize the families of today's class. You are also joining our firefighter family and will experience the joys and the trial of a public service life. You have indeed gotten a taste of that sacrifice while your husbands, sons, and dads have been at the academy. And I'd like to ask the family members of the class of 2017 to stand and be publicly recognized for your support and your service to our city. Please stand. Thank you, families. And at St. Paul Fire, we remember always that families also serve. Class of 2017, good luck to you all, and congratulations again on your accomplishments in the Recruit Academy. I look forward to working with you in the field and in the stations and on the sidewalks of our city. It is my distinct pleasure to formally welcome you to the St. Paul Fire Department. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Butler. Last but not least, I'd like to welcome Senator Amy Klobuchar to the stage.
What a great treat to be here, and my goal is to make them laugh. Okay, I'm going to try. And especially with the mayor and the deputy mayor and the council members and all the leadership, Chief Butler, it was great to be able to hear your remarks. I appreciate that. This is a great town, and you can see the support that you have from your families, but also for a lot of the people that run the town and run the department. And I think that's really important when you start out in a job like this one. I just came from Washington, and I'm really happy to be in St. Paul. There's a lot going on there. The most traumatic thing for me was 2 months ago, where on the inaugural stage, I was officially displaced as the most famous Slovenian American in Washington, D.C. by Melania Trump. It's a true story, I was. She actually grew up an hour away from where my relatives are from in Slovenia. And as I said that day at the National Prayer Breakfast, every time I look at her, it's like looking in the mirror. Oh, he smiled. It worked. Okay, all right. So this is an incredibly important moment, and I love our firefighters in our state. You are heroes. You read about you, you see you on the evening news, but it really is in the end all of you and your hearts that make the decision to do this job, and your families that make that decision to support you and are so proud of you for doing it. I actually live only a block and a half from a fire station in Minneapolis. What do you think that's like at night? You know that for 20 years I've had an industrial-sized fan behind my bed, so when the sirens go off, I don't wake up, but it's worth it because I have gotten to know, my husband says it's like we live in an airplane hangar, but I have gotten to know a lot of those brave firefighters firsthand. I've also gotten to see the soft parts of the people that work in this area. We've had 2 of my daughter's birthday parties over at the fire station when she was young. My favorite was when one of the little boys, she was 5 years old, and a hailstorm started to come in, and so we decided we had to get the kids in the car. We couldn't walk them home and get back, and we got out of the car, and we're going in the house, and I look, and this little boy named Kuba has taken the biggest wrench I've ever seen, like a party favor, from the fire station. Okay, so I got it back right away. I just want to explain that right away. All right, the other thing was, when I came in as county attorney, I got to handle what to me is still one of the most important cases we ever handled, and that was a case involving Jack Crothers and another firefighter who was killed in the line of duty when there was an arson. And it had been unsolved for 20-some years. And we somehow, I believed this investigator that said he could put it together, and we were able to solve the case by having a TV report during the Super Bowl. and a bunch of people came forward, including some really bad guys, old arsonists who were now out of the statute of limitations, and we were able to catch the guy that did it, and we got to sit in that courtroom with those families when they finally got justice. And it actually was an early introduction for me of how dangerous a job can be, but also how the improvements we've made in trying to understand buildings and old buildings and with the internet and how we can get the plans and everything, how much safer we can make it with new technology. And that wasn't available to them back then. The other thing I want to say is that I was listening to the chief as he talked about delivering babies, and I always think about rescuing the cats, and I've heard some of the cops tease the firefighters about, oh, you guys go rescue a cat while we're out doing this. You know what you can say to those St. Paul police officers? Really? Because you guys just solved a goat crime. You know, the goat kid. Okay, oh, that worked too. So the goat kidnapping that just occurred, okay, I'm sure it was really traumatic, so I'm not gonna make fun of it anymore. Mayor, I'm not gonna make fun of it. But in any case, when you do those little things matter too, and I think you know that. And so I wanna thank you for all of that and the job that you're doing. And I think this is just an exciting day. The fact that they're sending you out on Mother's Day is somewhat sad for some people, but there's also going to be a lot of proud mothers out there. And one other thing I wanted to mention, and really the St. Paul Police Department has been in the lead on this, and Steve Shapiro, who joined the St. Paul Fire Department in 1998, he gave 17 years to the city. He was diagnosed a few years ago with non-Hodgkin lymphoma. He's not alone, and I think we know the risks that our firefighters have. Again, St. Paul Fire Department has been on the cutting edge of making sure that we're washing the clothes and doing everything we can, and using high-tech washing machines and other things to make the people we're sending out there every day, your family members, as safe as possible. But I did want to thank Steve and this department for helping. We're doing this registry for people who've gotten cancer over the years that are firefighters, so we can make the case for them and make sure our federal laws work better and figure out what the best practices are. And I'm pretty sure the bill's going to pass, but the examples we were able to use because of our Minnesota firefighters have been really important, and I'm proud to sponsor that legislation. So as you prepare to join the largest fire department in the state, I want to say thank you to everyone here for everything you do and everything you will do. You do your job without fear or favor. You put the interests of the people you serve above all. And that is the sign that you guys want to go eat your cake. And I really get it, Mayor. Okay, I get it. But I don't want to be the last thing standing between you and this really important graduation ceremony. But I want to thank you all and wish you luck, and just tell you that we are there to have your backs. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Klobuchar, and thank you for your work at the national level on these registry efforts. She was wanting you to loosen up. You look real stiff. They're laughing about you back here. So, Lee, loosen up. There you go. All right. A successful firefighter training academy requires significant team effort. The time investment occurs not only during the actual weeks of the academy, but also in months of advanced work, building on years of training and experience. I'd like to introduce and thank the members of the training division team. Please stand when I call your name. Training Officer Sean Conway. Sean's been involved with components of other academies while assigned to the training division and working on projects for the past few years. This time around, Sean was assigned to the academy as the project lead to oversee the ongoing scheduling and logistics of the academy. Sean rose to the challenge and did a fantastic job coordinating the instructors and all the moving pieces of a very dynamic schedule. Sean took ownership of this academy, and his leadership to our new personnel was paramount to their success. Sean's professionalism and dedication are greatly appreciated, and I thank you for the work you've done over the months leading up to and throughout the entire academy. Thank you, Sean. Captain Jovan Palmieri. Jovan's worked on 4 previous recruit academies for me, and he's a proven leader and a solid project manager. Joe's not originally on the instructor slate for this class, but several weeks into the academy, we encountered some unforeseen staffing challenges. Due to an immediate vacancy, Jovan was the first person I called to fill that void. With only 2 days' notice and him giving up a scheduled vacation, Jovan transitioned from his personal plans and dove into the academy to help keep things on track. His arrival provided immediate traction, and Joe, I can't thank you enough and your family enough for stepping up to help out in our time of need. Thank you. Captain Jerry Dino and Captain Brian Kroger. Jerry and Brian have previous experience with numerous academies, and both initially started working direct with this academy. And I don't know why our lights are doing that. I've got to figure it out now, though. So they started with us, but as life sometimes happens, we had some unforeseen challenges and opportunities arose, and both Brian and Jerry were detailed to other plans and needs for the department. Regardless, their time invested with the recruits the first few weeks showed their professionalism and true passion for the job, and I do appreciate what they were able to give this academy in that amount of time. I'm happy that they're both here today to see the end result of our collective work. Thank you both, Jerry and Brian. One of you guys go find somebody to fix that. Captain Mark Dickinson, FEO Eric Coel, who I know is out here somewhere, and Firefighter Caitlin Sands, who I don't believe could make it today. Mark, Eric, and Caitlin worked with this group through a twist of fate. Mark and Eric are both recovering from injuries sustained while on the job, and Caitlin stayed with us for a few months until the birth of her baby boy just this past week. All three of them dove right in and helped within their physical limitations, and their attitudes were fantastic. We all benefited from their vast experience and expertise as they found ways to engage and help out with this academy. I did want to say thank you for your time. Thank you. Also, thank you to our support staff, Amy O'Donnell, Nancy Denkinger, and Josette Bradley, who work behind the scenes on everything from documentation needs to licensing to finding things we lost and needed, and even planning the fine details of today's ceremony. Their assistance behind the scenes is always appreciated, and I can't thank you enough. Thank you. I counted roughly 30 other instructors and guest presenters who dedicated their time and abilities to teach specialty subjects and ensure safe operations during all the training. I'm extremely grateful for the dedication and professionalism of all personnel working on behalf of the training division. I would also be very remiss if I did not offer a heartfelt thank you to all of our families, recruits, and staff who dealt with the changing schedules, late days, and the focused needs of a recruit academy. Thank you all. And beyond all those already mentioned, I must thank the entire St. Paul Fire Department. In the spirit of brevity, I'm going to go really fast, but I hate to leave any of these people out. I will ask that you hold your applause to the end. And there is a point to all of this, so I promise I'll get to that. Thank you to Chief Butler, Assistants Chief Simpson and Gady, Chief Zachard, John Swanson, and the entire admin team at headquarters. Thank you to the chief officers on all three operational shifts, the deputy chiefs, the district chiefs, and the EMS supervisors who helped us coordinate with the companies and who frequently came out to work on different training evolutions with us. Thank you to all those fire companies who came out to work with the recruits, as well as those companies left in service to cover an additional call load while they were out helping us. Your involvement is key to our combined success, and it's sincerely appreciated. There they go. In addition to those already mentioned, it's important to acknowledge that the Recruit Academy is a community-wide endeavor. I'd like to thank the City of St. Paul political leaders, building maintenance, public safety garage, fire prevention, DSI, human resources, Ramsey County Communications Center, Risk Management, Regions Hospital, Health Partners, PERA, Veterans Affairs, Flint Hills Refinery, Century College, the West Rock Corporation, the International Association of Firefighters, and any others that I'm probably forgetting. Thank you all so much for your assistance with this academy. Most importantly, and the point of all the thank yous, graduates, while you're never going to remember that total list of people that I just rambled off, please appreciate the number of people that have dedicated time from their lives and their occupations to help you in the initial phase of your career here. Just pay that forward as you move forward and pay it back. Thank you. Long-standing tradition in the Academy is the selection of a class speaker. The recruit class chose a speaker to speak on his behalf. It was a pretty heated debate and everybody trying to dodge and dodge. I've never seen a group of people so scared of speaking. One very brave soul did agree to step up, and he was very quickly unanimously elected to do this. So I'd like to welcome Carlos Sosa Vizcarra to the podium to say a few words.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Carlos Sosa Vizcarra. Thank you for joining us today on this special day. We want to extend a special thank you to a special guest. I'd like to thank Chief Butler, Assistant Chief Matt Simpson, and Mike Geed, Fire Department members, Regis personnel, International Association of Firefighters, Local 21 and Local 3939, everybody involved that made our training possible. Thank you to the Staff Academy for the efforts in creating the highest quality academy possible, as well as their commitment to train us and make us earn the title of firefighters. We extend a heartfelt thank you to the friends and families of the recruits for supporting us in this past 16 weeks. Thank you to all veterans and Armed Force members who are here with us today and abroad. "16 weeks ago, 12 of us recruits arrived at the training center, hoping to be where we're at right now. We all dream of being St. Paul firefighters, each having a different background, from appliance salesmen, paramedics, construction workers, to students. We're a diverse group. Walking through the front door, any prior experience, connections, bragging rights did not matter anymore. We became equals. We were St. Paul recruits. What started as strangers quickly became friends and ultimately family. Regardless of our background or physical fitness, this academy is one of the toughest things we've ever done in our life. With the academy being both mentally, physically challenging, the academy is not easy because the job that it prepares people to do is more than a job. It is a calling, and certainly not for everyone. Deputy Chief Gillian runs the academy to make St. Paul firefighters the highest quality firefighter possible. He ensures the training we received was realistic. He began the experience by inviting our family members to the orientation so they can ask questions along with us. Chief Gillian administers reviews engaging in active constructive criticism so we can learn and continue to grow. The staff instructors were hard on us because they care. They care about the success of their future crew members and about the high quality service of the city deserves. They were quick to show us physical training is a key part of the academy, to the point we now recognize each and every step of the 80 steps on the training tower. The intensity increased even more when they surprised us with the beautiful Kellogg Square, where we ran up and down all 34 stories of stairs, not once, not twice, not even 3 times, but 4 times. That's 136 flights, but nobody's counting though. Lead instructor Captain Conway said some now famous words that became the class motto until we proved them wrong. Those words were, "Not all clowns wear makeup." He shared his experience, knowledge, and extensive knowledge and experience, giving us a solid foundation of skills, and we're thankful for it. He also reinforced the training by explaining the reasoning behind the actions rather than simply saying, "because I said so." Captain Dino often reminded us that your mama doesn't work here, while we work to keep the training facility immaculate. He also taught us the health hazards of modern fires and how it can be safe to prevent injuries in ways we may not have initially considered, like washing your gear promptly after a fire to remove any possible carcinogens. He also ensured everybody's safety through the live burns, carrying out the duties of the safety officer. We want to thank Captain Kroger for helping us with the practical skills and ingenuity in his workouts. For example, the deck of card routine. In it, each suit represented a different exercise, and the number of cards represented the number of repetitions we did. He would pull all the cards in the deck until every card of the deck had been drawn. By the 8th week, we were beginning to feel proud and confident. We're at the halfway point after all. Then Captain Palmieri joined us, reminded us not to get complacent by switching up the teens and daily routines. Each morning, we had a uniform inspection, during which we stand at attention. Standing at attention means not moving, no facial expression, not even eye movement. Every day, Captain Palmieri performed inspections and would, without fail, find a direct line with Jones' funny bone, making him laugh, which meant he had to do burpees. Captain Palmieri helped us immensely during medical week, teaching us about medical equipment, medical rig setup, realistic scenarios for EMTs and paramedics. He motivated us every day with the same enthusiasm as day one. Our progress was most apparent in our live fire training. At the first burn, every time we pulled a hose, it looked like Spaghetti Junction. By our last burn, we worked like a well-oiled machine. We had 2 new fathers among the recruits, Gutierrez shortly before the academy started, and Jones partway through. During the academy, staff instructors used Skiva's mustache as a means to motivate us to bring us together as a team. By wagering the shaving of his mustache, believe it or not, it worked. We rallied and studied together to improve our test scores. Fortunately for Skiva, he scored higher than us and got to keep his mustache. As you saw in the video in the beginning, I decided to show Skiva what a real mustache looked like because he couldn't tell I had one. Our training does not end today, because the day you think you know everything is the day you have the most yet to learn. I want you to remember there are people in every neighborhood of St. Paul who need you, from Como to Highland, from east side or west side. Your efforts at work will make a difference, no matter how small. Every single shift, do your job well and do it with heart. Above all, work every shift with the passion you have today. Thank you.
Thank you, Carlos. This is my 10 for 10. This is my 10th Academy graduation, and the font keeps getting bigger, and I can't help but wear these, so it's funny. Class of 2017, as mentioned many times, you're entering into a profession filled with symbolic traditions, some being centuries old. One such tradition is the Maltese Cross. During the Crusades, a band from the island of Malta, known as the Knights of St. John, gained a reputation for courage in battle. While attacking the walls of a city, their enemies would hurl glass containers of naphtha at them. After being saturated in the flammable liquid, flaming torches would be hurled into their midst, causing hundreds of knights to be burned alive. Others risked their lives to save their brothers in arms from dying fiery, painful deaths. Their heroic efforts were recognized by fellow crusaders who were awarded each with a badge of honor, a Maltese cross, similar to the one that you now wear on your left shoulder. The badge you're about to receive is full of symbolism as well. Perched on top of your badge is a phoenix, a mythological bird that symbolizes new life rising out of the flames. The continuous rope and chain around the badge symbolizes unbroken service and loyalty. The torch indicates your willingness to risk your life in response to other people in need. Centuries ago, warriors wore a symbol of the weapon that they were expert in. When that weapon was crossed, it meant that it had been used in battle. On your badge are the crossed tools of a firefighter, which you have demonstrated proficiency in. The badge is not just a piece of metal. It is a symbol that carries an obligation to protect and serve those in need. There's no nobler an obligation. Class of 2017, please rise and prepare for the badge presentation ceremony. Training staff, please join me on stage to read the names of the recruits. I'll also ask that Chief Butler and our distinguished guests please join me on stage at this time. I'm supposed to ask the audience to hold its applause till the end, but that's become quite a joke, so just have a good time and we'll get through this.
Adam Arcand. Tyler Coleman. Javier Gutierrez. Cameron Jones. Tu Lee. Matthew Matthias. George Moultrie. Jeffrey Skiba. Carlos Sosa Vizcarra. Brian Wagner.
You guys can stay standing. I'll have Chief Butler administer the firefighter's oath at this time.
Class, left face. Raise your right hand, repeat after me. I state your name, solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States, that of the state of Minnesota, all ordinances of the city of St. Paul, and the rules and regulations of this department. I will strive to maintain a spirit of teamwork and cooperation with all personnel. I will seek to give only the highest example of honesty, integrity, and good citizenship. I understand that my behavior on and off duty affects the reputations of all firefighters. I will at all times uphold the highest standard of a professional firefighter and the proud traditions of the St. Paul Fire Department. Congratulations, gentlemen. Thank you.
Class of 2017, you are a very, very unique group of individuals, and it's been a pleasure watching you come together as a class. While each of you independently took on this challenge, over the past 4 months, you've collectively worked together to make it here today. 4 months has flown by for most of us, but I am guessing that January 23rd probably feels like a long time ago for all of you. While every class has its highlights, I remember the class of 2017 for its teamwork, a very good amount of humor, often ending with me shaking my head while walking away, looking for plausible deniability in what you're up to. So, Gutierrez and Jones were a little sleepy dealing with newborn babies. They survived. Poor Moultrie moved up here from South Carolina to start an academy in January. That must have been fun. Wagner and Skiba entertained us with their personal valet services every morning. I wasn't sure if their moms were dropping them off or what was going on, but apparently there's some girls that like them. So, certainly sitting in my office one day and hearing the entire group serenading a woman in her car with "You've Lost That Loving Feeling" was a highlight of my career. Coleman will never forget to bring something to work again, apparently. Skiba managed to protect his absolutely terrible mustache from being shaved off against significant odds until yesterday when he shaved it off. Just heartbreaking, heartbreaking. Yesterday's final PowerPoint presentation that I accidentally walked in on regarding explaining the differences between lambs and sheep will undoubtedly be contemplated by this group for many years to come. Just truly bizarre. And while I have always stated there is no such thing as a stupid question, over the past 16 weeks, I got to hand it to a couple of you guys. It's just, it was impressive. It's impressive. In all seriousness, I do appreciate that you took on a tough challenge, and I usually saw a lot of can-do attitude and support for each other. Your service project work cleaning the memorials and gravestones at the Calvary and Oakland cemeteries was sincerely appreciated. Over the past 4 months, it's been a pleasure watching you to take on the challenges as a team. I thank you for that, and now I welcome you to an even larger team. I'm also very excited for each of you as you come in with fresh perspective and a full career ahead of you. You're joining a department during a time when the fire service is experiencing unprecedented technological advances and learning from scientific research that is rapidly changing how we operate. We're moving in leaps and bounds to address health and wellness issues and startling statistics regarding occupationally related cancers and PTSD in first responders. You're going to be called a firefighter from here forward, but you've joined an all hazards response organization. In addition to fighting fires and treating medical emergencies, you're going to also deal with things like hazardous materials, terrorism, technical rescue, vehicle extrication, just to name a few. As you continue to master your job as firefighters, you'll have the opportunity to be true public servants in the truest sense of the word. With this ever-expanding mission in mind, I encourage you to remember that the 640 hours of training and conditioning that you just completed is just scratching the surface on what you're going to see as you double your course and head out to the street. If at any point of this academy you question why you are being pushed so hard, appreciate that we are preparing all of you for the most demanding career field in the world. We do this with the end goal of you living to teach about it to future people that take your place someday. You've learned about our history, policies, procedures, and best practices. You've drilled hard on cognitive skills and physical performance requirements. You've been pushed up to and beyond your physical and mental limitations. You've drilled enough on your protective equipment that you now know it blindfolded. You've been challenged again and again and again and again. And as you graduate today, I have one final challenge for each of you. I challenge you to continuously educate yourself as that all hazards firefighter. Do not become a statistic. Stay focused, read, listen, ask, watch, learn, practice, and work hard, and then pass it on to those that will someday replace you. And most importantly, as I tell every new firefighter that I encounter, remember where you are right now, today, at this point in time. Remember how hard you worked to earn this new career, and remind yourself of this in the future when you get mired down in the stresses and distractions that frustrate us all from time to time. Sincerely appreciate that you've earned a career where you have the opportunity to positively affect the outcome of somebody's worst day. Do these things and it'll be a career well invested. Reverend Van Zee, would you please join us on stage to offer a closing prayer?
There's a lot of people here that know me and know they're not going to get by with just a closing prayer. If that's a surprise to you, I apologize. I got to do something here that's going to give some perspective. Dick Koenig, are you still in the house? If you are, would you please stand up? Floyd Jones, are you still in the house? If so, would you please stand up? Where are you? Right together. I didn't plan that. When I came on the fire department 40 some odd years ago, Dick was a guy that took me under his wing, treated me like a pesky little brother, taught me everything that he knew and some things that he didn't know, watched over me and put up with me. I was a farm kid from up north. I didn't know anybody on the St. Paul Fire Department. I think that's a little unusual coming on the fire department. Dick's the best squad man I've ever seen. I used to hang out with a lot of hillbillies when I was in the Army, and they used to have a saying. They said, he's the finest man God ever strung a gut through. And that's who Dick is. Floyd, he was the pup when I was on the rig. He came on the rig as a new recruit under me, and that's how it works. Generation after generation, tradition after tradition. Floyd now has a son on this stage, Cameron. Cameron used to come and run around the apparatus floor so fast that I thought he was going to crash and burn. Just a wonderful, ongoing tradition on the St. Paul Fire Department. All this serious stuff you heard today, and it's all true. It's all true. I'm not up here accusating. But the truth is, you guys are setting out on an adventure that's so much fun. you're going to wonder why they pay you for it. And there's going to be some days you think that you owe money back because you had that much fun with your friends. I have just a little bit of advice for you. I know you all came to this academy thinking that you're going to be the finest firefighter that ever was, and I'm sure you all are. You can fight fires, you can do it all, but how you treat each other is really going to determine how they remember you. Nobody was ever on their deathbed and said, geez, I wish I would have treated people just a little bit worse. Everybody always wishes they treated people a little bit better. How you treat the people in the engine house has a whole lot more to do with how your career goes, how your legacy ends, all of that stuff. It has a whole lot more to do with it than how you hold the hose nozzle or how you start an IV or how you do all that kind of stuff. That'll all come. Like I say, all the talk here has been very serious today, but I envy you. I mean, it is an adventure. It is a wonderful adventure, and you guys have pulled it off. You're in on the scam now. I've been in on the scam for 45 years. You're in on the scam now. Remember, when you're out there, you're a good medic, or you're a good captain, you're a good firefighter, and all that kind of thing, but you're not the only good one. There's lots of good ones. There's lots of them. I just appreciate the tradition that we've seen here today. I have to do one thing, one further thing. It's just a small thing. I want to clear up something. I'm not rebuking anybody or anything. I just want to clear up some things that Senator Klobuchar had kind of a little joke on the cops. And those guys are just as brave as we are. They try just as hard as we do. They're big and they're strong and they're wonderful and all that. Really, they're almost identical to us. The only real difference is that chicks dig firefighters. That's the difference. That's the only thing. If you didn't give it up there, Matt, you've heard it 5 times before, though, haven't you? Let's pray. Thank you, God, for what you've given us today. Thank you for these young people here. Thank you for families. Thank you for support from the community. We got a wind at our back. The wind is at our back. We praise you, Lord, for everything you've given us here today, for all the words and all the family and all the friends. We ask that you'd bless these young people with every good thing now. Every good thing. Let their lives be blessed in every way, their families, their wives, their friends, their kids. We pray for every good thing for them. And likewise for this crowd here, Lord, I ask you to bless them as they go, and that they'd remember that you're the beginning and the end of all this. And I ask it in Jesus' name. And everybody said, amen.
This does conclude the Class of 2017 graduation ceremony. I do sincerely thank all of you for your attendance. To the newest members of our department, I wish you a long, safe, and successful career. Welcome to the team.